Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my channel. I hope you guys have been great, and today I'm going to show you how to create this eye makeup using the Marsala color, one of 2015 color trends. Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to create a eye makeup tutorial using the Charlotte Tilbury's palette, the Vintage Vamp eyeshadow palette. So first I'm going to prime my eyes by using my NARS concealer. And this is the Radiant Cream Concealer. This is in Custard, and I'm just going to dab it onto my eyelid, just one dab for each eyelid because this is a full coverage concealer. And what I like to do is start in the center and use my ring finger and just dab and blend it out. And the reason why I like to use a concealer as my primer is that it gives me a very clean surface on my eyelid, and so when I apply the shades it pops the color and gives it a better grab of the pigment. So now that I put the concealer on my eye, I'm going to set the brow bone area with a neutral shadow. And I'm going to use vanilla. I'm using the Love brush from TIGI as well. It's a very dense but fluffy, flat, curved brush. This gives me some control for application. This is going to be right under the brow bone. And I like to do this before I apply any dark shade, just so that if I do need to blend out, it's easier to blend when I already have the area set with a shadow. Because if I have it right on top of the concealer, it's a little bit harder to blend since the shade will grab too strong. So I'm using this as the first shade that I apply on my eye. And I just kind of blend it downward so it just buffs softly. Now we're going to go ahead and start with the Charlotte Tilbury. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the lighter shade right here. I'm going to go ahead and apply this shade right here. I just need a very little, tap the excess because I don't want any fallout. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply kind of the outer half of my eye right here, and I'm going to do up until like half of my eyelid. Not too high because I don't really have a very big space for my eyelids. I just pat that color on. And I just pat it very softly as I blend. And I kind of left it just outside of the line of my eye, just very subtly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth. So I'm just blending as I apply because I want it to slowly diffuse. So now that I applied on both eyes, what I'm going to do with the same brush is I'm going to actually blend it towards the center of my eye. I'm giving it a gradual smoke. This is going to play as my transition color as well. And I'm going to sweep it from side to side, back and forth to blend. And you see how that's blending so easily with this brush. Like I really am I'm not pressing out hard at all. I'm just kind of going back and forth very gently on the eyelid. And you want brushes that are very good because the less work that you pull on your eyes will not sag, and you have a more uplifting face and features as you age. So it's really important to invest into good brushes, even though you can use brushes that are not as good, but you put more work into it. So basically I just blended it and gave it a little bit of smoke into the eye. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, where I'm just kind of blending the shade towards the center. And then I'm going to sweep back and forth, just to give it a very seamless blend. This is just going to be about half of the eyelid. If it goes a little bit above, that's fine. And you can do a little bit less. It really depends on your eye shape. So what I'm going to do now with a little bit more on the very tip of the brush, I'm going to dab. I'm just going to bring it kind of into the lower outer lash line right here, just to bring this shade all together. Give it a very soft smoke. Now we're going to go ahead and define the eyes a little bit more. Wayne Goss number 3 brush. And I'm going to use the darker shade of the Marsala right here and just apply it onto the tip and dust off. And with this, I'm going to get into the crease of my eye. And if you don't have one, all you need to do is just kind of get towards the lash line and make it a little bit deeper if you don't have a crease. And what I'll do is I'll deepen it. So I'm using the tip. And just kind of defining that so that it makes my eyes look a little bit more bold and a little bit more open, actually, to give that little bit of definition. If you don't have a brush like this, you can use something small and defined like this for your eyes. Just use some kind of tool that works best for you. The reason why I'm using a more tapered blending brush is to blend it as well as give it a little bit more depth. I'm trying to do 2-in-1 without having to use several different brushes. Use a very small brush. This is the number 7 brush for Wayne Goss. And I'm going to use the first shade that we use. And I'm going to smudge it on the lower lash line right here. I'm working from the outer to the center. I'm bringing it only about 3/4 in. I'm not going to bring it all the way in because it's going to close up my eyes. This is going to act as a kind of a liner for the eye, just to give a little bit more definition to create this entire look. Now I'm going to brighten up the corners of my eyes right here. And we're going to use this shade. I'm using a small dense brush. So this is the mascara Voluminous Million Lashes from L'Oreal, waterproof, and I've already applied it on my eyes, but we're going to intensify it by adding a little bit more with the false lashes. And I made them kind of small so they're more natural, and just to give it a little bit lift on the eyes. Because we're doing such a smoky look, we want to define the eyelashes by creating a bigger illusion of the eyes for, you know, an evening or a date night. So I'm going to use the latex free glue from House of Lashes. And I'm going to apply this onto the lash line. I just applied the Voluminous Million Lashes on the lower lash line, just to bring the openness of the eye and define it without closing it up too much with too much darkness. So this is a final look for the Marsala eye makeup.